There have been rumors circulating for a long time that Justin Trudeau is not straight. And whether that's real or not, it's irrelevant, right? He's got a wife, or I guess had a wife. He's got kids, and now he's separated. But what does matter? None of that stuff, none of his sexual preferences matters. What matters is having a leader of Canada, or any country rather, but specifically Canada, that's our country, be a strong individual. If you're a man, you should be masculine. You should take charge and people should respect you. That's not the case with Justin Trudeau. People call him a femboy. It's very, very bizarre. And it doesn't help when you have his ex-wife, Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, going around doing a massive campaign, spilling all the details about their marriage and how he's not only ruined a country, but he's ruined their marriage and they have children. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you know what we're talking about. If it wasn't obvious, we're talking about Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, soon to be Sophie Gregoire, blah, 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 not Trudeau, going around and doing these news interviews, rather, or on these TV stations and giving the details about her new book. All right, let's start off with a bang. We have a short here of Justin Trudeau saying to the press, this is back when the separation was actually publicly announced, what he thinks about everything.
Recent separation from Sophie.
First, I want to thank all the people who've reached out over the past number of weeks with warm wishes, with personal messages, with personal stories that have been just wonderful and positive. I got a really good 10 days with the family to focus on the kids, to focus on being together and moving forward. And I really, really want to thank Canadians for having been so incredibly gracious and incredibly generous in respecting our privacy and our space. It really makes things easier.
Will Sophie have any role publicly moving forward, or is that it?
We've addressed that. I'm here and glad to be talking about childcare and everything we're doing together to build a better future, not just for my kids, but for everyone across the country.
So the best part about, the envious part that people have of Trudeau's separation is that Sophie actually got to leave Justin. We are stuck with him for a little bit longer. Let's take a look now at Sophie going on her campaign tour, trying to sell some books, probably failing at doing so, and talking about how Justin Trudeau has affected her mental health. And I don't mean to laugh at mental health because that's a serious thing, but I feel like millions of people's mental health has been affected by Justin Trudeau, not just Sophie. Let's take a look at this interview here.
Well-being and psychological safety.
Your needs, you shouldn't expect the minimum. You should expect a maximum of nourishment, presence, and help in your life with the people around you. And we shouldn't have to hold it all together as women.
Relatedly, Sophie is out with a new self-discovery and wellness book entitled Closer Together, Knowing Ourselves, Loving Each Other. And in it, she shares moments from her own life, including her childhood, struggles with an eating disorder, career as a television host, to de facto first lady and mother of 3. And Sophie joins us now. Also with us, editor of Forbes Women, Maggie McGrath, and MSNBC contributor Huma Abedin. She's vice chair of Forbes and Know Your Values 3050 Summit and co-host of Morning Mika. And Sophie, welcome to Morning Joe. First of all, I arrived right when you were on stage because I was really struggling doing this job and that job. And you were amazing. I walked in and I thought, oh, this is going well. Tell us why you decided to write this book, which is very personal, but has a very important message about mental health at this moment in time.
Mm-hmm. Before we switch screens and watch what Sophie Gregoire Trudeau has to say, pretty much shit-talking her ex-husband, Justin Trudeau, I want to talk a little bit about the feminization of men. Now, look, in every single trad household, you're going to have a man, you're going to have a woman, and the man of the house is going to be in charge of X, Y, and Z, and the woman's going to be in charge of this, that, and the other. But when it seems to come to Justin Trudeau, it really feels like he's bent at the knee to appeal to his now ex-wife, Sophie Trudeau, who has a little bit more of that soft-spoken hippie mentality. I don't think that Justin Trudeau actually to his root core believes in half of the shit that he's promoted. But I think that he's done that to appeal to his ex-wife, Sophie Trudeau. I mean, is that true? Is that not true? We'll never know. But I do know that one of the best ways to increase your natural testosterone and not be like Justin Trudeau is this supplement right here by Black Force Supplements. We're talking about turkesterone with Tongkat Ali, which, by the way, if you want one of these, you can actually, there's a deal right now with Black Force Supplements to buy 2, get 1 free. The link is down in the description and the pinned comment below. I'm going to look at my screen and read a couple of benefits about this. It increases your testosterone. It increases your strength. It basically hedges against ever turning into anything similar to Justin Trudeau. It improves recovery, it decreases stress, and it helps with fat loss. Again, this is Black Force Supplements, and the link is down below in the description or the pinned comment below. You can buy 2, you can get 1 for free.
Well, you've been shining light on mental health, and that summit was absolutely incredible, and I was feeding from the crowd. You know, mental health is our universal common denominator. We all have a human brain, and it's 200,000 years old, but our programming of our hard disk, varies depending on our childhood bond of attachment. And I go into the book when I talk about the fact that it's so important to really examine our mind and understand why we have the personality that we do. And from the childhood bond of attachment and how you were taken care of in your life and who took care of you, and were they present? Were they touching you enough? Were they playful with you? Did they validate how you saw reality and give you a sense of congruence and of trust? And then we carry that into our adult relationships, and our inner child is always active. And if you don't think that inner child is always active, read Closer Together, because you'll be surprised by what you learn. And then our need for authenticity. Attachment and authenticity is a universal, visceral need in every human being. And authenticity means...
This is what I have a problem with, is she's going around on this book tour talking about the importance of connection with people in person. Yet she was married and remained married to the man who literally made that impossible in Canada. He made it illegal for a few years. And that's not authentic, Sophie. Why didn't you stand up, when you had the chance and say, look, what Justin Trudeau is doing, what my husband is doing is wrong to Canadians. I think that we should still try to work through what was happening between 2019 and 2023, or still ongoing, however you want to look at it. She should have used her platform then when she was married to the Prime Minister and say, this is going to affect people's mental health. And it just seems very disingenuous that now she's coming out and talking about it, but still ignoring what happened. And that really irks me the wrong way.
Means being able to express our own unique personality without changing our behavior in order to please. But we all do it. We do it as a child to get our parents' love. We do it as romantic partners to feel loved and validated and seen. We do it in a public sphere and the work sphere because we need human connection. So mental health is not just the absence of mental illness. It is the presence of connection. And if we don't feel safe, we're seeing what's happening throughout this country and in Canada as well, and throughout this planet. And the war is raging, and people, not knowing how to address their anger and sadness. So this is really, really a mental health crisis on its own. And we have to be careful to not pathologize everybody, but mostly understand why our personality is reacting the way that we do to all the stressors in our lives.
Sophie, you are first of all, I want to say congratulations. We're thrilled to have you in Abu Dhabi at the summit. And we just learned that the book is now a national bestseller in Canada, so congratulations. And no surprise, because there's so much in this book that you've taught us. Number one being that 70% of our mental health challenges start in childhood. Yep. And all these conversations about emotional leadership and emotional health, there was something you said both in Abu Dhabi and in the
It's her last attempt at any form of relevancy and cashing out. Sophie will not ever have a normal job. Maybe she has a pension. Maybe she's got a payout from Justin. Who knows? But we know it's at taxpayers' expense. This is her last attempt at having any form of public influence and having any form of Google traffic towards her name. The only reason why people are looking up Sophie Gregoire Trudeau is to hear her hypocrisy in which she's doing right now. Look, these views, they don't even get a lot of views on these videos. 9.3 thousand views in the past 3 hours as of recording this video on the mainstream television networks. Nobody's searching for her. She's trying her absolute best. You know what, Sophie? You want any form of relevance? You want to cash out on your book? Come out and admit that what Justin Trudeau did was wrong to Canadians, that it affected your mental health, that your relationship with Justin Trudeau affected your mental health. Stop beating around the bush. And that what Justin Trudeau did affected the mental health of 40 plus million Canadians. Like, that's what the truth is, and that's also what people want to hear. Instead of going around and saying, oh, mental health is so important. Dude, you are running away from a prime minister to save your mental health, and you know that human connection is one of the most important things in this world so that we can stay sane, yet you don't have anything to say over the past 4 years? Like, come on, man. I feel like I'm being gaslit. I'm going a little bit nuts here.
Book that has really struck me is that we're all one trauma away from each other. And so tell us about that notion.
Every time I hear it, and I've been saying it for 20 years, and it's not mine. Yes, they're my words, but it's how people resonate when they hear this. We're all one trauma away from each other, meaning it takes one traumatic life event to, change the way your brain reacts to your environment, which is called epigenetics, and then the way you interact with yourself and others changes, or a series of little traumas that sometimes I also notice that as women and men, but as mothers, holding the nucleus of the family, having our plates overflowing with responsibility and being fatigued and insomniac and suffering from sleep disturbances and more, and depression. It's a lot to carry. So whether you have a big roof over your head and all the objects that you've ever dreamed of, if your feeling of security is not okay, then it's game over. And
well, Canadians don't feel safe or secure with Justin Trudeau. So I guess it is game over. Let's take a look at a separate interview on the social CTV. Sophie Gregoire Trudeau talking more about her mental health and the importance of human connection, yet avoiding the elephant in the room.
I'm teaching as a yoga teacher, yoga nidra teacher, or in my book as a mental health advocate. I can only teach from my perspective and what I lived through. Mm-hmm. And then in every chapter, I go and get one of the best experts in their fields because I had access to that. Mm-hmm. But I told myself, I have access to all this amazing knowledge and science and research, but what good does it do if it's on my desk and I'm not sharing it with people? Mm-hmm. So I decided to write this book, and, I just feel right now that it's resonating so deeply. And when you said this, when you said to soften my heart parts, mm-hmm. I don't think there's a better way to live than to look at your truth. And it hurts, by the way. We are not taught in our society to sit with pain without feeling overwhelmed. And although we're at the latest technological advancements everywhere in this, most partly in this world and in space, we've been taking our lives away at unprecedented rates. So 20 years ago, when I told my story,
taking our life away at unprecedented rates. I wonder if that has anything to do with the government policy in which, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling anxious, if you're broke, whatever reasons you want to come up with, that you can go to the government to literally unalive yourself. Like, this is a real thing. Our government is complicit in the genocide of Canadians, for crying out loud. They're gouging us by taxes, and then they're also offering a way out. Look, if you're going to unalive yourself, you're going to find a way to do it. The government should not be involved in this. Sophie Gregoire Trudeau just admitted that there's a problem with people unaliving herself. Yet she was just married to a guy who is literally providing unaliving tools to people. It's just absurd, man. Can you give me confirmation bias, please, in the chat, down in the comments below, if you think that this is insane? Like, has Sophie lost her mind? She's picking and choosing what she is agreeing with. And it was right there in front of her. Justin Trudeau has provided a way for thousands. There's like 40 or 50,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, who have used this government program of MAID. She was married to the guy who said, yeah, let's go ahead with that. That's a great idea.
Story that I suffered from eating disorders when I was younger. I was a newcomer on the television and radio industry. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to lose all my contracts the next day. But you know what? Not at all. It begun a journey of integrity, of congruence within me, of honesty. And at every single step, now at 49, I can say, even with all the volunteer work that I've done in the past, 10 years on the co-political path, I've always stuck to that. I'm not perfect. It's messy at times, but I've stuck to that.
I think it's so
And we
great.
love that part.
Yeah, totally. Especially love. And you share so much of yourself, but I want to go back to what
It's just so hypocritical. And, I feel very weird about the situation because there's got to be some document, some form of NDA that Sophie Gregoire Trudeau has signed where she can't come out and say Justin Trudeau did X, Y, and Z, right? I totally understand that. We're talking about the prime minister of a country, you're talking about national security. That makes sense. But it feels like she's taking all these jabs at people, talking about her mental health, talking about the importance of human connection, talking about how we need to do something about people unaliving themselves. When Justin Trudeau has aided and abetted all of those things to happen, where human connection is and was a horrible thing, where unaliving yourself is now a government resource. Like, it's just crazy. You got to read between the lines a little bit in this without being too conspiratorial, without putting your tinfoil hat. Maybe have your tinfoil hat next to you. I sure have mine next to me on the desk here. But it's wild. And I feel very kind of manipulated and gaslit. I don't know. How do you guys feel down in the comments about this? Do you think that Justin Trudeau has, that this is a bad look for him? Or do you think that this is a bad look for Sophie? Or maybe you think this is a bad look for both of them? Let me know down below what you guys think. That's where we're going to end today's video, folks. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And on your way out, I'd encourage you guys to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.